We're up and rolling on the Fight Buzz with Into Boxing. Dean Whyte, good evening, sir. How are you?
Evening, man. It's all good. We're ready to rock and roll, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Busy week, as always. A lot to talk about. Anthony Fowler's joining us tonight. Plenty to pick over his brains. One thing I'm going to bring up is the fight that we've just seen at the weekend. Liam Williams, Dimitri Andrade. Good fight.
Hell of a fight. I think
Liam
Liam
Williams,
done it justice. Yeah.
He was always up against it, wasn't he? But I thought he's put a pretty good account for himself in there. We've got coming up next week a monster card with Chisora Parker headlining it. Eubanks on there, Katie Taylor's on there, Bivol is on there against Craig Richards.
Right, man.
That card is going to, mate. We had him on here a few weeks ago, and he said, didn't he? He was saying this is what he wants. He's on the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got it. He said he was gonna, go for that fight. And credit to him, the monster and Bivol. Not a lot of people wanted to fight that guy, and he said, "Listen, bring him to me, man. I'm gonna show you guys what I can do." So, credit to him, man.
We spent a bit of time in Derek's gym with Buddy McGirt the other day. Yeah. Those boys are putting some work in, aren't they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, Derek's always putting the work in the gym. And, you could see from the sparring, there was some real hard rounds in there. And when he comes out of there, he's absolutely shattered. And you see after, they actually put him through more paces on the bike, on the bag. Listen, I'm absolutely looking forward to May the 1st, a stacked card with many big fights on there, especially Parker and Chisora.
Yeah, big one. Well, listen, let's bring Anthony Fowler in. He's been in a big fight of his own just fairly recently. A good win to boot. Anthony Fowler, yes, mate. How are we?
How are we, boys? You good?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll talk about everything that's going on in the boxing universe in just a moment. Before that, I've seen you putting some news on social media the last few days. Very exciting for you personally.
Oh, yeah. My son's due in July 31st, so yeah, it's getting close now.
Congratulations.
Big step, mate.
Hey, the machine all round. The machine all round, yeah?
Are you? Have you thought about how it's going to impact you as a boxer? Do you not think about that? Do you see what?
I think it'll probably be more motivation for me, if anything. I can't let nothing affect me, and my training's got to be done. It'll stay the same the way it is. I do live away from home, so it'd be hard for myself and the missus, but I've probably only got a few more years left in me, mate, so I've got to give it all. I have no regrets when I retire. I want to give it all to the boxing.
Absolutely.
One of those hurdles, of course. Before we even talk anything more boxing, let's talk football for a moment. I know you've got an affinity with a certain Premier League club, and it's been a mad week in the football world.
Oh, mate, it was crazy, wasn't it? Everyone's heads have fell off, haven't they? Everyone's caused murder, but it goes to show that everyone stands up for what they believe in. Everyone speaks a voice. We can make a change, and I think just the normal people speaking up has made a big, massive difference. And obviously they've backed down now, which is great.
Yeah, Dean, I don't know how much you saw of this. If you've been following it at all, 6 of the biggest clubs in England saying they're going to break away and join this European Super League. 48 hours later, 24 hours, 48 hours later, the whole thing's fallen on its backside.
Yeah, kaput. I saw it. I was actually, funny enough, you say that. I'm sure I heard something like this a few years back that they was talking about this also, and a similar thing happened. And I was talking about it with a few people because basically it was saying it would be the end of the Premier League and the smaller clubs because the bigger clubs bring a lot of traction and finances and stuff to the Premier League and stuff like that. But it's good, man. These guys are trying to. I don't know what they were trying to do. But, thankfully, people power has turned it around and they've had to back down.
I was speaking to some of the lads at Into. Is there any way that this could happen in the boxing world? Is there any way that the top 10 fighters in a certain weight category could move out and say, right, we're just having our own little division now? I don't know. Is that possible?
think they'd run out of fighters. It's not a lot. It's not. If you've got 10 fighters, who are they going to fight? They're going to have to fight people. See, they're going to have to do business with other fighters somewhere down the line.
Well, if they just had it with each other.
Like that.
If they just had it with each other.
What's that thing? The WSB. What's that thing that?
I was thinking that. Yeah. WSB. I was at that. Eight of the best, innit? Eight of the best fighting, but people get bored watching the same fights, mate. You gotta mix it up.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, let's move on to boxing then. Enough of that football talk. Let's move on to boxing. And you're off the back of an unbelievable win. Just talk to us about that night, that camp, the aftermath, everything around it.
Yeah, it was great. I had a short camp, to be honest. I had that COVID and so I was off for a few weeks. Just I went too bad, but I couldn't train, so I had 2 weeks off at that. Then I got like the fight, I don't know how week easing back in. Then I got a phone call like saying, "Do you want to fight in 3 weeks or something like that?" So I was a bit like, I checked me weight. I went too bad, so I thought, yeah, why not? And yeah, the opponent was a good fighter, mate. He was world ranked. He was expected to go the distance, and it was a potential banana skin fight because he had a bad start for himself, but I boxed really well, and I was really happy. Yeah.
That style of just absolutely outworking him, but I feel like you've progressed a little bit more than just fitness freak. There's more to your game now. Yeah,
I'm a lot more like smart in the ring now. I was amateur me for 15 years, so it took me a little bit longer to get out of it than what it takes some fighters who go pro a little bit younger. So I was that used to going out there, all guns blazing the first few rounds, throwing power in every single shot. And when I was as a pro over 12 rounds, you got to use your brain in there and you got to be smart. And I thought I'd just blast everyone out because my first 9 opponents, I knocked 8 of them out really early on. The one that went the distance and then knocked them out as well. Then when I lost that fight, I got a shock. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was going to be an easy fight. I got a shock, and I've regrouped now, and I've won all my fights since easy enough. And my last fight was a big step up. That kid went 12 rounds on the Canelo won the card in Vegas, and he never got stopped there. Russian was 19-0, and I stopped him in 3 rounds. So it was a big statement.
Yeah, it obviously speaks volumes of not just where you are kind of career-wise, where you're moving up, but what you're capable of. Because I know you're looking up the rankings now. See, obviously you're one of these boxers that's maybe more active on social than others. But you were talking the other day about moving up the rankings. You've got your eyes very clearly set on where you lie within each of them. So every fight that you have now, I guess you've got in the back of your mind, what does it do for my ranking?
That's it, yeah. That opponent was picked because he was ranked with the IBF. I'm now ranked with 3 governing bodies, so it gives me a few opportunities here and there. Like when the belts become vacant, when Charlo potentially moves up, if he wins them all, there's a few vacant belts, and I'm in all the rankings, so I've got a chance of all them. And especially if I get a few more good wins under my belt, then I'm not far off, which is great. Yeah.
Dean, when you work with fighters, is that what you look at right from the off? Is where can we go ranking wise, belt wise? You got to play the game as well as play the game, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously, look, Fowler's in with good companies. With Matchroom, he's he's moved over to is it McGuigan? Yeah, you're with McGuigan now, right?
Yeah, right.
So he's got a good coach. He's got good surroundings. So the thing is, them as a team, they'll look at the board and navigate a smart. Remember, it's chess. Really, you want to navigate. If you've got a good promoter, then it's easier to do. If you don't have that, then it's a whole different proposition. But Fowler's in a good position. Look, he's got a good win. The only thing I would say about you getting a good win, because things are different. You can't get too ahead of yourself. You've got to keep working and nurturing. I'm sure you know that, like you said, like you was in the amateurs for a long time, so you had to, change your style. But what some of these guys, they come over here, you get good wins, but then sometimes you shouldn't get carried away because you're always you don't want to miss the mindset of that there's still room to grow and improve. It doesn't matter how another man beats that other individual, because there's different aspects of why things occur different ways. It's just not running ahead, just being smart and always understanding there's room to grow and learn. You know what I mean? So for me, I think it's definitely something I would look at for my guys, matching them right, matching them so when they do fight, they go up the ranking. And depends which governing board you want to choose. I don't want to say you pick the easiest route, but you pick the route that's more beneficial for you later on to get the job done, not the hardest route. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's two things I want to come out from that, and I guess you're perfectly placed to answer both. My first question is, how do you pick which governing body? I mean, you've got, let's take the major ones. You've got WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF. How do you pick? How do you think, I'm going to go with that one?
It's more what opportunities arise. Like, I won a WBA international, so that got me a high ranking to WBA straight away. Like what Dean saying's fully right. It's about being smart and picking the right route. What styles suit me, what styles don't suit me. But it's about being smart boxing. It's not about being a big tough guy and fight anyone. It's about being smart.
Yeah. The other one I was going to ask is, you both talk about this adapting, if you like, from the amateur to the professional scene. Just gives a bit of insight as to what is the difference. You know, what did you have to get used to in particular that's different in amateur and professional?
The best way I describe it is amateurs is like a sprint, a 100-meter sprint, where pro fight's more of a 1500 or a 5,000 meter run. It's a different ball game. It's about being patient and smart. Where Dean said before, getting ahead of yourself. I've done it once before, and I paid the price. So that won't be happening again in my career. I'll be going to every single fight like it's my last fight, and I'll be fully focused for everything that comes. And I've had that mindset since I've had that mindset, all my fights have been easy. Be no coincidence, because I'm going in there now expecting the worst, and then when I win, it's like that went too bad. That where previously I thought, oh, this would be easy, this, and the next ring I'm in a pure war, and I'm like, what's going on? And you subconsciously panic because you visualize it in your head the way it's meant to happen, and it doesn't happen that way. So you can start panicking in the ring, which happened to me in my fight. I tried to knock him out round 9. I put everything into the fight, and then in round 10, rather than being smart and just boxing to the point, I thought, no, I want to prove a point. I want to knock him out, and I went for the knockout, and I caught myself. So I learned a harsh lesson very early on in my career, but it's helped me in good stead, and I'm in a good position now.
Dean mentioned there you move over to the McGuigan gym. Just talk to us a little bit about what's going on there.
Shane's obviously a world-class coach. He's got a system, Shane, that he's used for Frampton, Taylor, George Groves, Lonzo OKOLIE recently, and they've all become world champions. So I'm just following his system. I'll do whatever he tells me to do. Says me get up in the 4 o'clock in the morning and run, I'll do that. Whatever he says to me do, I'll do. And I put all my trust into the fella, so I just keep working my ass off. I keep working. I work as hard as anyone. Anyone will tell you who's been around me how hard I work, and I just keep doing my best to get to where I can.
How does he differ from other coaches? It's like what's different in the gym?
Loads of things. Every coach wants to work on different strengths, different weaknesses, and I think the way Shane's got me boxing, I think suits me the best. Like my recent fights, I've been using my feet more. I'm using my jab more, and I've got a really powerful jab, and I've got good feet, but I want to use them. Where the first 9 fights, I was trying to work on pressure and closing the ring down and stuff, which is good, but it's about being smart, isn't it? Not coming in too much. I'm looking for that one big shot, and I feel I'm just growing as a professional as well. I've been professional 4 years now. When I lost my first fight, I've been professional 18 months, and I spent like 6 months injured with a bad hand. So it takes time to adapt. I'm not the most naturally talented fighter, but I'll work as hard as anyone, and eventually I'll get to where I want to get.
Do you see that, Dean, when fighters come to train with you and your guys, and maybe they've been around at other places? Do you see them having to adapt when they come to train with you?
Yeah, obviously everyone's got a different style. Look, I've got a training style. Obviously, I'm coaching myself now, and I've got a style which I picked up on the road through many gyms and many places where I've been around the world. And you know, it's just a accumulation of, you know, studying and kind of understanding what techniques and what you're going to have, because you need to be an all-rounder personally. Look, like you said, you used to be a little bit more front dominant, coming forward, trying to get in the pocket and trying to get them out of there. That's one element of boxing. The second element is maybe you're going to have mid-range, long range, and you're going to have close range. You're going to have a bit of all of that to be able to become an elite fighter. Do you know what I mean? And you're gonna have to understand how to distance control. So these are the things I do with my guys. I do a lot of movement. So when they're in trouble, when they need a bit of time, that their feet can get them out of trouble. They can get them in to do some damage, but it can also get them out. And then I work on, shots in the pocket and stuff like that, and understanding, range, fighting and so on. But different places, sometimes guys just think it's about just teeing off, and that's going to get it done. But the other person's got the same mindset, and they're coming with the same energy, saying, look, I'm going to tee off, and if I catch him, I'm going to get him out of there. But everyone's got to know, no one's going to sit there and just let you tee off. They're going to have a slip, they're going to move, they're going to try and roll, come under and do shit. So it's, everyone, especially in a fight, in the first few rounds, everyone's got the same steam until one person takes the steam out of the other man's cell. But it's about being technical, using your jab, using the ring, calming the storm, and then kind of going to work and dissecting the opponent in front of you. But I think all round, you've got to be able to kind of listen and take in everything your coach is saying, and then apply it when it gets in the ring. That's a different thing. You know what I mean?
100%. One thing that I get the impression of is when you have these fighters in gyms together, you get this so we talked about football teams before who have this team bonding, team ethic thing, because obviously they're all playing together. Whereas you're not in the ring with Lawrence and you're not in the ring with other fighters, you still have this bond. And there were shots on TV of you watching Lawrence's fight, Lawrence watching yours, and you're all buzzing for each other. It seems like you've got a real tight-knit group there.
Yeah, I think you just bond. I think you're in the gym every day together. We're all chasing the same dream. We're all grafting our asses off. It's in between, mate. You want a bit of a laugh, you know what I mean? You don't want to be all doom and gloom and all run sessions, weights, sparring. In between, we have a laugh, and we're all in the same boat. So we understand how hard it is to sport, and it's that mutual respect. So we all get on really well. And yeah, I was really happy to see Lawrence works really, really hard. And watching Lawrence as well has made me up my game. For last year, before Christmas, Lawrence was sparring 12 rounds, 2-3 times a week, and I was thinking, well, that's a lot that. But I thought if he's doing it and he's performing, I'm gonna try it. So over Christmas, when I had a bit of time off, I was sparring 12 rounds on Christmas Eve and just trying to push myself. Even though I got told to rest, I thought, no, I want to see if I can do what he done. So I was sparring 12 rounds on Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, pushing myself. And when you're around people at a high level, you got to raise your game as well.
Sounds like you were in better shape than I was on New Year's Day. Tell you that much. What's Lawrence like in the gym? What's Lawrence been like in the gym since his win? Is it just back to work for him? Or?
Yeah, to be fair, mate, I thought he would have come back with a big, massive ego, but he hasn't. He's just come back just the same old Lawrence. He's on his own little world, Lawrence, mate. If you know Lawrence personally, he's just a funny guy to have around. He lives in Lawrence's world. Do you know what I mean? Just a funny man. But I love the guy, mate. He's a boss fella to have in the gym, and I wish him all the best. I think he's trying to go on to do big things in the sport.
You could pass the message on if you could. We tried to get a petition the day after his win on the Into website saying McDonald's need to release a limited edition OK sauce. Get people to sign it. That could take off. I could see that. Let's move back onto your career then. One thing you mentioned before, which is some fighters, and I get why. They take a loss, sometimes even a couple of losses, and when they speak about the career, they kind of swerve around it and they don't want to bring it up. But you mentioned it, and you kind of spoke about it. Look, it happened. That's part of my career. What's changed in your game? I know you mentioned about thinking differently when you're in the ring, but what's changed in your skill set, if you like, to make sure things like that don't happen again?
I've just got more plans now. I've got plan A, B, and C. Where in that fight, for example, I had one intention to go out there, take the centre of the ring, push him back, and knock him out. That's all my plan was. So when we're working, rather than thinking, okay, I'll sit back now and I'll draw him onto my shots, or I'll do something differently, I panicked a bit and just kept doing the same thing over and over again. And I didn't work him around now, and I didn't knock him out. Of course, him with a few lovely shots, but again, it didn't work. And then again, when the last round come, rather than being smart and just thinking, you know what, I thought me I'm with him still, but I still wanted to knock out. A win's a win. No matter how you get it, it's all about the win. No one remembers how you won as long as you won. It goes down in history as a win. So in future, if I'm winning a fight and I'm winning by enough, I'll just keep doing the same thing. I won't try and do too much or too less. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll listen to my corner rather than listen to myself and trying to knock people out for my own ego.
Dean, do you see some of that, what Anthony's talking about changing your mindset physically, your tactics, everything else? I mean, Dillian, with the Alexander Povetkin first loss, it was kind of, it wasn't expected. It was against the run of play in the fight, but it's something he's obviously had to address in the similar way. I mean, the Anthony Joshua one was way in the past now. I think he'd long since got over that one, but the Povetkin one was obviously quite fresh. He's come out and then just been absolutely dominant in round 2. Do you know what I mean? In the second fight, he was utterly untouchable. Do you think there's similarities there in Anthony's journey and Dillian's post the loss?
Do you know what? Look, these guys, look, they're professionals. That's the word. It's called professional. Obviously, sometimes it can have an effect on you. Chris Congo lost the other day, and I said to him in the change room at the back, I said, listen, buddy, you know, today I'm going to let you have this day. You're going to kind of mope a little bit and say, look, I wasn't the better man tonight, but tomorrow I could be a better man. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that you're not like an elite fight. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be great. It's a learning. It's a learn. L is for the lesson to learn. Yeah. So as long as your mindset and you know, you've got the right mindset, you say, you know what, I'm going to go back to the gym. I'm going to put certain wrongs right. And sometimes you've got to watch over the fight and see what you didn't do in the fight. If you weren't jabbing enough, if you weren't maybe a little bit aggressive. There's little things, you know, sometimes, or maybe you were too aggressive where you could have been a bit more thoughtful and been a bit more technical. Who's that there? Oh, that could be Billy.
Big CBS, the gentleman himself. Come in, bro.
So I think
He's got camera shy in, Big Chris.
Yeah, I think it's the athlete's job to kind of put things to put. Yeah. I think it's the athlete's job to have that mental toughness. And one thing, Dillian is, I'm telling you, is a rare breed of an animal that he can just get over things. When I mean quickly, as quick as he lost in that fight, when he was at round the back, he was straight at Eddie and said, listen, I know exactly what I did wrong. I want a rematch. I want it straight away. I want it in 2 months. I'm not messing about. I'm raring to go. And he knew from then, and he was always talking. He said, listen, I know the adjustments, what I need to do, and I know where I made the mistake. So I want to get back there as soon as possible, because he didn't want this fight festered over into the new year, because he knew he could have, you know, gone on and fought other opponents. But obviously, because of the COVID with Povetkin, it kind of stretched on a little bit. But that mindset, you got a good mindset. You seem solid. You seem strong, and come back, you bounce back well. Now the iron test is now, if you get the fight again with Fitzgerald, do you make the adjustments to get the win and get redemption for yourself? But then what you do got to do is you got to not kind of go in there having that in the back of your mind that you lost and you got caught. You got to rid that from your mind, because if you got anything weighing a burden on you, then it's going to affect you and affect your performance. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah, it's really well put, and I think when you look at how fighters have to adapt and get over it. I remember I asked the question, Dean. Do you remember in the build-up to that Povetkin rematch where we said, what if he gets to the same kind of time in the fight? You know, when he's winning and he's up on rounds and everything else. One fighter, and I'm wary of keeping you for too much longer, mate. Just rattle through a couple more pieces real quick. One fighter who took a loss just last weekend. I don't know if you saw the Liam Williams fight. Obviously, a lot of conversation around that fight over here. It was a fight of interest from both sides of the pond to see who was going to take that step, if you like. Did you catch the Williams-Andrade fight?
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight, mate. I thought Liam had a nightmare start, and he rides on really well. I thought he hit Andrade in the 3rd round badly, and in the 9th, and I thought he boxed well, but the referee was a bit of a bad ref, in my opinion. The ref let Andrade hold all night. I think Liam should have been a bit more like on the ref and like making it a bit more obvious that Andrade was holding him. He should have been stepping back and like complaining a bit more. Maybe the ref might give Andrade a public warning and made the fight a lot more interesting. But that Andrade's a really slick fighter. I mean, he's your worst nightmare as a boxer. Especially Liam's style was all wrong for him. Just like the constant pressure, and Andrade's so slick. It was a bad start for him, and But I thought he gave a great account of himself, and he showed that he belongs at that level. He wasn't out of his depth. He rallied on, and another night he could have won.
Yeah. Dean, I'm guessing you think similar.
Yeah. No, listen, he put it all on the line. The only thing I'd say, and he kept getting caught with them uppercuts. I felt like he could have made slight adjustments, because you can't keep getting hit with the same shot time and time again. You know what I mean? At that elite level. I mean, if I'll still give him credit, he's a hell of a fighter. He's tough. He's durable, and he brought the pressure. And that pressure, it nearly broke the pipes of Andrade. You know what I mean? But Andrade is slick. He has deceptive power as well, man, because he was explosive, especially early. You know what I mean? But like I said, Liam done himself, a world of justice. And he can come back with his head held high, and it's a good fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, looking forward to see what he does next. And final thing for me, just before we let you go, I wanted to ask, because we see it on social a lot, not just from yourself, but a few of the other guys. Is the talk of CBD. I know we've gone way off the boxing thing now, but I've got to say, I'm going to ask you the benefits of it and things like that in just a mo. Put you on the spot a little bit, but I'm going to say I tried it once, just because we were given some free samples. I was working at a boxing company, and we were next door to a shop that sold it. Thought I'd give it a go, and I was really impressed. I can't remember the brand. I can't remember anything about it. How much does it help you? Because you speak about it a lot. Is it just tell me about the product?
Yeah, mate, I really rate it high. I started in 2017, and I've been that passionate about it that I've started my own company. That's how much I believe in this stuff. And obviously you probably follow me on Twitter. I'm not too sure if you do. You'll see people every single day, normal people, average Joes every day saying to me, "Oh, mate, thanks very much," because I do achieve anyone in the country. I do the best stuff at the cheapest price. And everyone will give it to you, mate. They're really grateful that I make it affordable for them. And when they get them benefits, like whether it's anxiety, depression, pain relief, they can't sleep, it's taking over their lives. And me giving them a little bit of relief at the oil, they're just so grateful. I was like, I get the lives back and stuff. And I know my own missus, my own girlfriend, she's bad at anxiety. I would say to her, love, chill out. She's always anxious and stuff. And she has it all the time now. She's having a bit of a stressful day. She'll run straight to the cupboard and get the oil and start taking it. I laugh me off, but it works for people, mate. If it works for them, it works. And if you look into it deeply, there's science behind it. There's a system in our body called the endocannabinoid system, and that works with CBD to help regulate our body to good health. It's just such an amazing supplement.
Do you think it gets a bit of a bad rep from some areas? Because in layman's terms, people, it's just getting high. It's just do you think it gets a bit of a bad rep?
Yeah, people are misunderstood. In the CBD, there's no THC, which gets you high. THC's actually got really good effects as well if used correctly. There's some properties THC can be used for, but it's not legal, so we won't go into it. But the CBD is from the baby plant, the hemp plant, which is it's just amazing for you, mate. It's a plant. It's God's plant, I call it. It's growing in the earth, and it's got so much more medical benefits than having pills from the pharmacy. You can go and buy man-made pills, or you can have natural God's medicine from the ground, which is grew, which I believe is so much more beneficial for you.
You ever given it a go, Dean? This audio.
Yeah, funny enough, I've got it from Ant. I got them a little while back. I've been using them. They've been alright still. Yeah, come on. I'm already in the gang. You know what I'm saying? So, it's been alright. I've been using them, and I find them alright. You know what I've been doing with them as well, because I went to when I got injuries, I've been using them differently. So I've been taking them, and then I've been rubbing them on injuries as well. And I don't know, I think they actually work for me. I don't know. Everyone's different, you know what I mean? Because it's an oil, and obviously it will be absorbed into your body differently as well. So I do many different styles of them still. Because imagine I went somewhere and someone was using it to massage people for injuries, and they were saying there was benefit in it. So then I started doing the same, using it. I had some elbow issues, so I was rubbing it in that, and I'm like, hey, I think this works. I don't know, but might be a mental thing. But however it was going, all of it, I felt good. I felt relaxed. I felt like, you know what I mean? It helped me sleep, because sometimes my brain is always going. So sometimes I'm just a million miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, what I would say this before I go, you know what I'll say? What he just said then, I'm sure it was a mental thing. Everyone said that to me. Everyone says to me,
tell Chris to quiet down.
Chris, shut your mouth, lad.
Ah.
Yeah, everyone says that. It's a mental thing, but it can't be, maybe, because it's science for one, it works, and everyone can't be wrong. It can't work for everyone, and it'll be mental. Because me personally, when I first took CBD, my jaw was killing from sparring, and I couldn't eat. I had to go and get a sandwich and eat it on that side of my mouth because my side was so sore, and I literally had the oil. And within 30 minutes, I had eat normal. So that's not mental to me. I know if I'm in pain or not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not stupid. Yeah. So it definitely works, mate, 100%.
I think I might have to go and try a bit more now.
I send you some free, mate. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't charge you. I'll send you some and you can see what you think.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll have a part 2. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you about it. Listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. Do we know when you back out? Do we know anything? Next?
It's quite funny because I got told today I might be boxing on July 31st, but I said no, I can't. My baby's due the same day. I went, so I have to give me another date, mate. I can't be having that. My missus will kill me.
Did you say it's your first one?
Yeah, my first child. Yeah, so.
That's amazing.
Any tips?
I've got a few. Do you know? I just realised I've sneakily moved the camera back around. So I sat back here and I thought, there's nappies in the background there. So I haven't got any tips, but I can send you some of them if you need them.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. Well, good speaking to you, boys.
Yeah, mate. Listen, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to having you back in the future.
See you later. Have a good night.